Kalala Wadlaya Basham Shai Basham Kakadash, the belongers to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. I will and teach well, peace and salutations to the brothers. My four corners of this earth, pushing this within truth and in sincerity, and by the Munatazax and Shalom. Yes, so we're here with another video, you know. That's gonna be an impromptu video. I mean, that's gonna let the scriptures flow through the spirit and not written down, but I seen two articles that you know what I mean. And they just show you the madness, the so-called leaders of the world, and you know we know that they are far gone, right? We know that they on the extreme left. They are the extreme anti-Mashiachs, you know. Them want to do away with everything, even remotely righteous, even remotely for the people, even remotely good, you know. So bring out this one here first. It says Bill Gates' weight loss drugs are more effective than lifestyle changes. It says the global obesity crisis is a problem that money simply cannot solve, according to billionaire philanthropist and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. It seems that Dr. Bill Gates, the world's most powerful doctor, according to Google, and top funder of the World Health Organization and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, has his own prescription for weight loss now. I remember what the jabs do to people and currently doing, right? Considering the turbo cancers, the gene mutation, all these things, killing them, right? What be going on? It's a forget yoga or other types of exercise. Gates says the most promising aid to losing weight are drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. During conversation with Indian entrepreneur Raj Shaman, behavior change in societies that are struggling with obesity, weight loss related issues, health issues. The Economic Times reports Gates acknowledged that while individual lifestyle shifts are important, medical innovation will play a critical role. He pointed to a class of drugs known as GLP-1 receptor agonists, originally developed for diabetes, as one of the most promising solutions on the horizon. The most promising is a class of drugs called the GLP-1 drugs that are going to go off patent to become cheap. I'm always a little over-focused on a scientific solution, Gates admitted. So maybe a combination of that behavior change and new tools, but behavior change is hard. We haven't succeeded in that as much as we'd like to. These medications, such as Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound, work by mimicking a natural hormone in the body that slows stomach empty and reduces appetite. The results: users feel fuller for longer and tend to eat less. I'm going to tell you something about Ozempic and Wegovy, right? I'm not a doctor. This is not medical information. Y'all could fucking Google this shit, right? The information is out there. Ozempic and Wegovy contain a chemical that in lizard venom. I forget the name of the lizard, but it's venom. It's a literal flesh-eating the venom does eat your flesh. That is why it has so much side effects, right? This shit is not for human ingestion, right? Google it, look it up for yourselves, right? Be diligent, do your own research. So this is just one, right? So we hear the madness in this, right? He's saying lifestyle change is not to take drugs. Now we know he's the main man for the pharmaceutical industry either way, right? Cool. So eating clean, right? Staying away from processed oils and all these things, processed foods in general, sugars, so on and so forth, right? That wouldn't work, but take fucking drugs. Really? Alright. Second task. It says Canada's PM vows to provide sterilizing puberty blockers to children. Right? These Carney, whatever the fucking name is. So Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney has vowed to continue pushing puberty blockers and procedures without exception, including for children. During a recent press conference, Kanye reiterated his dedication to furthering the LGBT agenda by committing to protect the so-called fundamental right to irreversible drugs and surgeries for gender-confused Canadians. All of us when you're fucking confused about what all you are, whether it's male or female. You ain't see this place is confusion. This place is confusion. This place is fucking. It says, LifeSite News reports media questioned if he would include LGBT rights under the Canada Health Act, considering recently passed Alberta legislation which prevents minors from taking irreversible puberty blockers or undergoing gender reassessment surgeries. Kanye repeated that he would defend the fundamental right to accessing gender transitioning drugs and surgeries without exception. Canada is a mosaic. People can be who they are. They can love who they love. Access to healthcare in Canada is not a business. It's a fundamental right, and we will defend it for all Canadians without exception, he said. Lifestyle News has compiled a list of medical professions and experts who warn against transgender surgeries, warning of irreversible changes and lifelong side effects. In fact, in addition to asserting a false reality that one sex can be changed, transgender surgeries and drugs have been linked to permanent physical and psychological damage, including cardiovascular diseases, loss of bone density, cancer, strokes and blood clots, infertility, and suicidality. Well, yeah, these things will happen because you fucking twisting what the most I create, what the most I put to be, you trying to rearrange. So obviously it's going to fucking fail. The most I, everything the most I does is perfect. You try to alter it, what you're gonna do? You're gonna bring it down. You're not you wouldn't evolve it, you go devolve it. If devolve is alright. I think I'm gonna look that up after. But if it's not shit, we can use it for this video. Right? Right. Devolving. Devolution. Evolution. You know? There's no progressing, regressing, in other words. Right? The work of the Lord, I would have doing the regressing. That is why it has so much fucking side effects, just like the weight loss drugs we read about in the previous article. That, you know what I mean? He ain't gonna say the fucking side effects, and he could just say, take this to lose weight. He wouldn't say, you know what, as the head of the World Health or the main funder, I would try to let the heads know, you know what I mean, that we cut out certain oils, that we lock off certain oils from the markets, you know, certain seed oils and all these things. He wouldn't say that, right? Because that is what, like, generating big bucks, you know? We go ban all these major, especially fried food companies. We ain't go call no names, fast food, you know what I mean, companies, and you know, let them know, hey, y'all can't use this kind of oil to do this. Nah, negative, whatever. Find a different way, something. Nah, you wouldn't do that. That'll cost them too much money. Anyhow, there is also overwhelming evidence that those who undergo gender transitioning are more likely to commit suicide than those who are not given irreversible surgery. A Swedish study found that those who underwent gender reassignment surgery ended up with a 19.2 times greater risk of suicide. Regardless of scientific evidence, the gender transitioning methods are dangerous. Carney appears intent on continuing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's radical LGBT agenda. Right, so the leaders do err. You understand? The leaders of the people cause them to err. You know? Alright, let me go to the scriptures, you know, because you know what I mean. We're just pulling out the precepts that come to mind. Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Yeah, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Only the wicked would try to do this. Only the wicked would try to corrupt something that was made perfect, something that was made before. You know what I mean? From before them, before they were created. You understand? Something that the Most High put, he command to. You know what I mean? He put his stamp on that. He made man, he made woman. You're trying to twist it, you're trying to say a man could be a woman, you know what I mean? Because the scriptures say they seek to change what times and laws. You understand? They seek to change time and laws. I don't know that precept in my Bible. Oh my goodness. That would be Daniel 8 or 7. Like, okay. That would be Daniel 7 and 25, I believe. That's it says Daniel 7:25. It says, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall weigh out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. You understand? And shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing of times. Yeah. The will is given into his hand until the time and time and dividing of times which is upon us. Right? That is what going on. He changing the law of a man and the law of a woman. You understand? We're imputing into a lot of things. You know what I mean? That man shall not lie with mankind. Woman shall not lie with womankind. Now, if you take a sex change, it will change you from being a man, and it just change it changing your tools from a hammer to a wrench, or you know what I mean? Just to make it more clean. But yeah, that's what they're doing, rearranging your tool set, you know. But that is still breaking the laws. That is still changing the laws. They still want to change the laws. You understand? And he say even in children don't have no right to do this thing. You understand? They are under the governance of the parents. So you surpassing the parent, which they wanted to always do, and deal straight with the child. You understand? And it says a higher rate of suicide in these people. Right? We know the agenda is the population. And this is them stamping it here again. You know? The scripture eluding my boy. The scripture to bring out. Okay, back here. Proverbs 29 and 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear it rule, the people mourn. Yeah, that is why the world is the way it is, how the population is the way it is. Last night I did a video on euthanasia, the high numbers in euthanasia right, going up, you understand, in the Netherlands, right? It going up. Euthanasia is just you signing away your life, more or less. You know, giving up the ghost willingly. Then the government, oh yeah, take it, right? And all this sex change, whatever the case may be. It says the risk is higher. It could cause it to be suicidal in the end, because I mean, you might think this is the right thing at this moment, but what I could say, right? What I could say. You understand? The people mourning, right? That is why they want to delete themselves. Because they can't live with the decision they have made. They say the drugs are irreversible, you know. That and the surgeries are irreversible. You can't go back once you cross that line. I like taking the MOTB. There is no backpedaling. You understand? Either you're on this side or you're on that side. Either you're cold or you're hot. Yeah? Either you're cold or you're hot. And these how we know that these are the wicked by. These how we know that they are wicked by. Look at the things they want you to do. Look at the things they would allow you to do, as a matter of fact. Not even what they want you to do. Look at the things they're allowing you to do. You understand? In the UK, they want to ban street preaching. You understand? We have Gates saying take these drugs to lose weight, but he wouldn't talk to the FDA to ban certain foods or certain chemicals in foods that add into the weight problem. Right? You wouldn't do that. You could say, nah, lifestyle change too hard, take drugs. Kanye's saying we gonna let children decide whether they want to be boys or girls. Fucking children. So why all they don't let them decide to what to eat, when to eat, and change and pay themselves and these things? Why they don't let them drive at the age of 4 or 5? Why don't do that? Because that's a lifestyle decision you're allowing a child to make, you know. I think in all common sense, we should allow them to drive and all these things as well. Let them pass that law in Canada then. Children could drive. Why do that? You understand? But that wouldn't play to all their agenda. You understand? All they have agendas to play to play too. You understand? All they have agendas to keep up with. All your own program, all your own ship, all your tightening up on the left hand side. That's why we on the right hand side doing the same. You know? Let's forget one more precept and I'll close out because you don't really have much to say again. And we know that this is madness. We know that this is madness. I know the exact precept I wait for. Jeremiah 51:7. It says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. Yeah, don't join in her iniquity to get yourself cut off from the Lord. For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore they are mad. Yeah? The nations have drunken of her wine, and if you read the two articles I read that these is nations run by who? Edom, Edomites, so-called white people, right? The so-called pale face, as the natives used to call them, but at least in the movies and things. The pale face, yeah? Look at what they do. Therefore, the nations are mad because they adopt the indoctrination, they adopt it. You understand? That pride, that great pride, they seem to be in. And nevertheless, the day of the Lord is coming, the judgment will come upon them. But they look over, it's a Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Hold for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Let us go everyone into his own country for greater judgment. Salakia, for judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up to the skies. You understand? The judgment is led by the same way the trillions of dollars in debt. You understand? The same way the debt piling up, the same way the judgment piling up for the shit they from pushing and promoting. You understand? The level of filth. The iniquity is compounded sin, right? So for the level of iniquity that they're stacking up by, they compounded sin. They compounded iniquity in other words. And the judgment is sure. That's why they had to go. You understand? So I hope it was edifying through the spirit and power of your Bashem Yoshai. Until next time, shalom.